Hi class, it's Dr. Gerdes, and I want to spend some time going over the syllabus for 610 for the summer 2015 term, and hopefully I can clarify any questions that you might have. There's a rhythm and a flow to this course, and what I'm asking you to do will make more sense if I go over it, and then if you have any questions after reading the syllabus and working over whatever materials you need to look through, then I can help you with other questions from there, but it should be fairly self-explanatory. So the course description and rationale you can read. It's just what's in the catalog. The materials, if you don't have the APA manual, you need to get the APA manual so that you understand how to do pristine APA. The bookshelf in the Boss's Brain is only on Amazon in Kindle. It's an ebook. The other two books, the Bottom Line and the Case Studies book, are only in the not the library, only in the bookstore. That's the only place that you can get them. They're a lot cheaper than the kinds of things that you would normally see as textbook. So I hope that helps. If you have issues writing, get a hold of the Elements of Style. Read it. It's a very thin book. I have a copy right here. See how tiny this thing is? The Elements of Style. Get a hold of that and absorb it. It will help you tremendously as you're in this class. Learning outcomes, again, are the same kind of thing as when I was talking about the course description and rationale. You can read that on your own. Character, we're going to be looking at or looking through a lens of dependability, enthusiasm, and especially flexibility here. Flexibility is going to be at a premium. Faith integration, again, you can read this, but I really want to emphasize things like people are created in God's image, and so you treat them the right way. Christian business professionals are to act as wise and loving stewards. That's very important. An important motivation of Christian business professionals should be to serve others, and that Christian business professionals should exhibit a desire to grow in professional and personal competence and character. Okay, so what am I asking you to do? Assigned readings. Read everything I asked you to read. I wrote pretty much all of it, so please, I think it's important, okay? There's not something like, well, is this really important or necessary? It's important, it's necessary. Just read, okay? The textbooks, read these case studies. So I'm going to ask you to write at the end of the semester the case studies. All quizzes and tests will cover the case studies, and then I'm also asking you to week by week write the case study answers in a particular place, and you'll see that later on. Okay, ebook, please read this. I'm trying to integrate these ideas into the actual text ideas as well. Class participation is very important, and I measure participation in an online class by how well you interact, not just in the discussion boards, but, do you take leadership roles, and do you really, help advance the ball in the class project, that kind of thing. Okay. Discussion board. So each discussion board, you're going to have a discussion board where you find research and then you post what you found, and then there's going to be a discussion board response, which I'm asking you to interact with other people, and then ultimately that will culminate in a discussion paper. So that's one final entire class paper, which means if there should not be a single error in this class paper, because I have 18, 19 of you all looking at this theoretically. Okay, now I know some are just going to go, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I trust you. Okay, then you're going to lose points when somebody else makes an error, and don't be upset. Okay, but I want all eyeballs to be going over this paper in fine detail. Okay, now this leads me to discussion board 1, which is due Saturday. Okay, so my question is, how a leader thinks affects how he leads. The classic example is theory X and theory Y. Under theory X, a manager thinks that workers are inherently lazy and they need prodding to work. Under theory Y, the manager thinks that work is as natural as play and workers want to do well. When a leader believes in his followers, his belief has a profound and pronounced effect on their effort and success. This is known as the Pygmalion effect. Leaders think of followers sometimes as animals, so they use the carrot and stick metaphor, or as machines, as cogs that can be interchangeably replaced, or as hands, while I, the manager, am the brain, and other silly things. Okay, so or maybe they think that they're made in the image of God, which is an appropriate way of thinking of them. So your job is to find scholarly, peer-reviewed articles that clearly demonstrate the connection between the leader's understanding of leadership and how it impacts his followers. Now, here's the key to how to do well on this assignment. If you look up how leaders think, you're not going to find very much material, and I'm requiring you to go to the CSU databases for this, okay? But you're not going to find much material doing that. You're probably going to find how a leader's behavior, let me show you this here, okay? So what I'm asking you to do is how a leader thinks, you're looking for how a leader thinks and how that affects his behavior. But what is out there in spades is how the leader's behavior affects the follower's morale or the follower's motivation. It's when you are looking for these 2 into 3 articles, right? When you're looking for how 2 leads to 3, that you'll actually find 1. And what I'm looking for is 1 to 2. That's what I'm looking for. How a leader thinks about leadership, how that affects how he acts. Okay, but you're not going to probably find this directly. You're going to have to look for how this leads to that, and then somewhere in there they'll say it. So you need to start working on this soon, because this is important. It's gonna take a while to weed through this. Now, I'm also asking you, okay, this should come in the form of a research study. So, you know, X%, if something's quantified, that's probably good. It must be generalizable to American business. I don't want, you know, a study of nurses. I don't want a study in India or Pakistan, whatever. The quotes should come from a discussion or conclusion section of the article, not in the abstract, not in the lit review. You will lose points for doing either of those things, and I'm nerdy enough that I look at it. I require a persistent link. That is, that the link that will go right back to the article, so I can look at it immediately. If you don't know what a persistent link is, you got to know it. Okay, the quote should be no longer than 40 words. I don't want to read a page. People will put a whole page in there, making me weed through it, trying to find. You don't need to do that. You can put a ... ellipses, right, in between, in order to shorten or right, in order to get the 40 words. But that's what I need you to do. Each quote must demonstrate how thinking, 1, leads to actions, number 2. Okay, that's what I need you to do. Okay, the next one is working with your team to find and categorize this. This is next week's assignment. And then finally, you're going to turn that into 1-page executive summary followed by all your findings. Okay, that's DB1. DB2 and DB3 you can read on your own later on. I just want to get you started with this right now. Okay, you're also going to have quizzes each week, or not each week, but most weeks. There's 10 quizzes in the 13 weeks. You're going to have exams. There's a midterm and a final. There's a company project leadership journal. That is, week by week, you're going to just give me your thoughts about how things are going toward your project. So we'll talk about the project in a little bit. Case study questions, I talked about a little bit before, team leadership evaluation, and then the company project. Okay, so your class is divided into four teams, and they're going to be doing 4 different parts of a whole project. Now, so I'm going to refer to each team as a company, and so Team A is going to go back. So let me back up. Historically, we've done these ebooks that in another class, and then I had the management class organize themselves in order to market them, to sell them, right? And the proceeds would go to charity. The first charity was Christie's Legacy of Hope, which was for orphanage workers in China. The second we just started last year was for to create a leadership scholarship fund. It's a little bit more applicable here. Okay, so the first team, Team A, will be dealing with the previous websites, Social Media Advantage and the jobadvantage.com, which house the previous ebooks for Christie's Legacy. Now, the good news is those are kind of models for the Team B, who's going to be starting a leadership website from scratch. I bought the name, I bought the domain, I have it all set up. Leadershipment. Okay, so leadership, leader is the root word. Ship means relationship to, right? So leadership is I am in relation with my follower, right? Friendship, there's a relationship. Citizenship, relation to the country, right? But meant, like management, is an action. So leadershipment is a little play on words with, it's not just a relationship, but there's an action, as well as we can name the books with that title of leadershipment as a series of things. So these ebooks were created in BUSI 624 by other students who wrote about different leadership topics, and you'll be doing the same thing as what you see in Team A, except you're starting from scratch, Team B. Team C will be dealing with SEO, that's search engine optimization, in order to optimize both Team A and Team B. And Team D will be dealing with social media in order to accelerate how people are finding these items, okay? And you're all working together in an interrelated way, managing each other and the process under one one CEO who I need to step forward. Somebody who would like to lead the class project, please email me when you see this and we'll get this sorted out. Okay, that's the company project. It'll be work, but you're going to learn a ton, especially if you're over in the SEO and social media categories. You'll learn things. I know of students. Look, one of my students who wrote one of the social media ebooks got promoted because a manager came in and said, "Hey, does anybody know about this?" I wrote an ebook about it. And, well, you're in charge of that. So these are growing experiences, and they're a little out of your element, and that's intentional. It's kind of like Outward Bound. They take the executives from New York and put them out in the wilderness and make them go whitewater rafting. And the CEO really doesn't have much more knowledge about this than anybody else, and so they learn teamwork in the project. Well, you'll learn a good deal of teamwork, and you'll do the things that you're reading about in the textbook in the project. Okay, so let me move down. So here are the items that are due over the course of the semester. My grading scale, I want to point something out. An A is graduated, okay? The top 8 points is an A. The next 10 points is a B, and the next 12 points are a C. Okay, so it's a little bit more conservative for an A, a little bit more liberal for a C, but please note that right now. Okay, attendance policy is it's online, so just show up and do your work and work with each other. At the end of the semester, you're going to grade each other on your teamwork, so don't let each other down. Excessive error policy. Do not submit poor writing. It will get kicked back to you with a penalty. Please do not do that. Work out whatever you need to work out so that it's not poor writing. Okay, so now this week, what are you going to do? So it's Monday has come and gone, and you are supposed to read Chapter 1 and Case 1. Okay, and the introduction of the bookshelf in your boss's brain. If you do not have Chapter 1 and Case 1 because you don't have the textbook yet, you can only get it in the bookstore, I understand that. Go under Course Materials and you'll see Chapter 1 and Case 1. I only provide the first one. It's there so that you can stay on top of things. Okay, you do the class introductions discussion board, you do the class project discussion board where you're kind of working out kind of a little class constitution, some group norms, how you're going to function and flow. And then you do the case journal questions for Case 1. By the end of the week, you should have researched and found a great quote here for how does the way a leader understand leadership affect how he leads others. Okay. Again, this is going to be hard to find. You have to find it indirectly, but this is really good stuff. And if you're off topic, I'm going to tell you you're off topic. You will lose points. So make sure you're thinking how he thinks, how it affects. Now, it can think, affect. The quote can have think, affect, and how the followers react, but how the leader thinks is how he acts. That's what we're looking for in this. Okay. Next week. Now, there's going to be a flow to this. Again, look here. There's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday every week. Okay. Read these things. Do this management journal entry, and the management journal entry is that free flow form. Do your case questions. Do quiz 1, and then DBR 1. That's working with your team as a team. Kick out those quotes that do not fit, because it's going to hurt you later on if you don't have them together. Okay. Week 3, same thing. Here's your reading. Here's your management journal, case questions, quiz, and DP 1. That's the final paper. Okay. Week 4, again, reading, management journal, case, quiz, DB 2. See in the flow? Here's your reading. Here's DBR 2, part 1, DBR 2, part 2, case journal, and quiz. Okay, so everything week by week, it's a very similar flow week over week. And I do that intentionally. I'm trying to kind of help you get into a rhythm. So that's it. It's that simple. If you have other questions, please feel free to ask me. And I hope you have a great semester. You're going to learn a ton this semester. And so I wish you the best of luck, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.